And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are trying something new tonight, just trying to see what functionality is on this forum and what I can do with this channel. So excited to get a live playthrough on the channel, and we are going to return to Spirit Island. I have, I think, done 7 Spirit Islands that have been released already. I have 2 more that are taped, and I am hoping to get them on the channel within the next month or 2, but wanted to start really moving through some more spirits, and this was a way to get some more content on the channel quicker. The only 3 spirits I have remaining were Ocean, and then I have the 2 Kickstarter spirits from the first Kickstarter, both Wildfire and the Serpent Slumbering Beneath the Earth. So I felt like Ocean would be a better candidate for a live playthrough. So here we are. So let's get started with some setup while people hopefully start trickling in here. And all right, so I'm going to randomize my board. I'm going to roll a die. I rolled a 3. So we are going to be on board C, or Island C, I should say. So we'll put that aside. And now the real moment of truth is our adversary. So I'm going to roll a die. I rolled a 5. I rolled a 1. So we have the Kingdom of Brandenburg, Prussia right on top. Not upset about that one. So Brandenburg is Ocean matches up very well with Brandenburg, Prussia, even at the higher levels. So we'll be feel pretty good about this matchup here. Board D might have been a little easier, but Board D also presents its own challenges. So Board C will make a good arrangement for us today. So I'm going to then go ahead and randomize our Healthy Island, Blighted Island card. I rolled a 6, so I'm going to be dealing with the back half of those 9 cards. And 5 is not helpful, 3. So we're doing a 3rd Healthy Island card. We're going to put 2 Blight on there. Trying to see what else we need to do. All right, so we don't need any of the reminder tokens. As for the adversary, I'm going to set the deck as I would for a normal game, and then we will continue to modify it later when I go through the various escalators for Brandenburg, Prussia. So we're taking out one of the stage 3 cards. We're going to take out a stage 2 card. I rolled 2, so that's out, and we're going to take out a stage 1 card. I rolled a 2 again, so that's out. So I'm not going to stack them yet. If you've played against Brandenburg, Prussia, you know why. We will have to do some more modifications to that to make this super challenging. So I'm going to shuffle up the fear cards. Level 4 Brandenburg has a fear deck, which is 4, 4, 3. So that's set. I'm going to put the Terror level 3 divider on top of the bottom 3 cards, and the Terror level 2 divider in between the other 8. And our fear deck is also set. And we will shuffle the event deck. I have already taken out the Slave Rebellion card, which I had off to the side in case I picked France. So the event deck is now set. And you will notice, maybe you've noticed already, I have our power cards. Some of my major powers and even 1 or 2 of the minor powers are starting to show some bad wear and tear just from how much they've been shuffled over the months, and I was seeing some separation. So it got to the point where I had to sleeve them up, which is always a bittersweet moment for me. I do like the sleeves I use, but I do like the tactile nature of the actual cards too. But it just was becoming unwise to keep shuffling these cards without sleeves. So we have our major powers in the blue. Obviously, we lose a little bit of the artwork in the game, but it will do. And then we have our minor powers in the green. So Ocean, I think more than most spirits in a solo game, you are very much reliant on the power cards. So you will see me dig for power cards often. The nice thing with Ocean's growth options is that 2 of the 3 actually give you the chance to get new power cards. And for Ocean, they're of vital importance because Ocean, again, doesn't have any range to the inland with its initial starting powers. And a lot of whether or not you win or lose with Ocean is going to be whether or not you can get the card or 2 that you're going to need to act in the inland lands. All right, so power cards are set. We will put the initial placement components on the island. So we are going to put a Dahan in land 1. We are going to put a city in land 2. We are going to put 2 Dahan in land 3. We're going to put 2 Dahan in a Blight in land 5. We are going to put a Dahan in land 6. And we are going to put a town in land 7. Additionally, because we're using the Brance and Claw components, we are going to put a beast in the lowest numbered land that does not have a pre-printed setup icon, so that's land 4, and we're putting disease in land 2. I always, when I'm ocean starts with 2 presence on the board. 1 is in the ocean, and 1 is going to be any coastal land of my choice, and I always choose land 1. And the reason for that is on any of the 4 boards, again, I use the non-thematic sides because thematic sides are going to be hard to see with this setup. On any of the 4 boards, the land in the top, I guess that would be the northwest corner, that is always no more than 2 away than from any other land. So establishing a spirit, a sacred place or presence in that place is going to be really important for Ocean, and that it's going to give him the maximum access to the rest of the island, even the inland lands. In contrast, if you put that starting presence in land 2 or 3, you would actually be 3 away from land 8, and that'd be a problem. So I'm going to read the little story on the back of Ocean's card here. We have: the hunger of the ocean runs deep and powerful, sometimes patient, sometimes tempestuous and angry. It slowly wears away at rocky shores or devours half an island during a hurricane. It lures humans out onto the water with its siren call, then consumes ship and crew alike unless the proper offerings are made. The ocean's voraciousness keeps the Dahan from frequent sea travel, though they still manage a trading expedition every decade or so. These trading trips take the cooperation of several families and always involve at least 2 spirit speakers. That way, even if one perishes abroad, the expedition will still be able to get home. You'll see it's a high complexity character, spirit, and it's off the charts on offense. Again, the problem with Ocean comes, can it manage the inland? Now, in a cooperative game, it's tremendous because Ocean just dominates the coast all over the island on every board, and then hopefully the other spirits can take care of what's going on inland. In a solo game, obviously you don't have that luxury, where you really need to find a way to do what you need to do all across the island. His special rules: you can place or move presence into oceans, but you may not place or move presence into inland lands. There is one major power that is exception to that general rule, but for the most part, you cannot get presence anywhere beyond lands 1, 2, or 3 on any board. Oceans on boards with any of your presence are treated as coastal wetlands for powers and blight. That's it. They are not treated as coastal wetlands for events or other effects, but for powers and blight they are. And you can drown any invaders or Dahan moved to those oceans. So I don't even need a presence in the ocean to be able to drown, as long as I have a presence on the board. If anything's moved to the ocean by a power, then I can drown it and I can put it on my board and I can turn that to energy based on the next special rule for Ocean, which is drowning. Destroying drowned pieces, placing drowned invaders here. At any time, you may exchange X health of these invaders for 1 energy, where X is the number of players. So in a solo game, you can really make that a nice energy generating machine. Engine is a better word, right, for the gaming world. A nice energy generating engine as you continue to drown pieces and then turn that into energy. And often, as I play as Ocean, even with a couple of major powers, and in a solo game, I'll have 7, 8, 9, 10 energy on my board pretty often. And the question is, do I have the good powers to win the game? So my growth options, I have 3 growth options. The first option is to reclaim cards, gain a power card, gather a presence into each ocean, and then gain 2 energy. The second option is to add 2 presence into the ocean and then gain 1 energy. And the third option is to gain 1 power card, add a presence to a coastal land, 1 away from where you have presence, or push 1 presence from each ocean. So, hey, what's up, Mitch? Thanks for joining me, man. So those are the 3 growth options we have. We have our presence track. Presence track is loaded with elements that you will want. You have a moon and a water, 1 energy once you get to the third, and then earth, water, 2 energy, and then the energy card plays. The first presence you put out will give you access to 2 card plays, and you're going to probably end up in that 2 to 3 card play range as you play a solo game of Ocean, just looking at the growth options that you're going to be choosing. Innate powers, there are 2. One is just a fear generator, pound ships to splinters. Level 1, if you have a moon, a sky, and 2 water, it generates a fear. You have to have a presence in a coastal land to activate that. And again, your ocean, if you're present just in the ocean, that does count as a coastal land. It is a coastal wetland. If you have 2 moon, 1 air, and 3 waters, it's 2 fear, and then 3 moon, 2 air, and 4 waters is +2 fear. So that would be actually 4 fear total. So again, in a solo game, that's an entire fear card. So that can be tremendous to get to that. And then Ocean Breaks the Shores, you can drown a town. If you have 2 waters and an earth, you can drown a city. If you have 3 waters and 2 earth, and you can drown one instead, you can drown a town or a city if you're at level 2. Level 3, you can drown a town or a city, and additionally drown another town or a city. So that's a very, very strong innate power combo between the fear and the drowning. And so a lot of it is going to depend on, how your success with oceans will depend on how you can allow things to build on the coast and then drown them, turn them into energy, turn that energy into what you can use to afford to pay for your powers, and then hopefully you get the powers necessary to take care of the rest of the board. All right, the good thing about Brandenburg Prussia, and good thing about all the adversaries, except for Sweden. Sweden, I find, is the hardest matchup for Ocean for a lot of reasons. But as far as Prussia, like France and like England, you will always be able to drown something from a coastal land in that very first turn. And that makes the rest of the game a lot much easier as you start accumulating power cards and start getting money to be able to do some of the things that you're going to need to do. So let's go through the Kingdom of Brandenburg Prussia. They shorten the game. That's all they do. They take out invader cards, they take out a stage 3 card, a stage 2 card and a stage 1 card, and they're going to put a stage 3 card in between stage 1 and 2. So Brandenburg Prussia gets moving quick, and you need to stay on top of them quick, or otherwise they will overwhelm you. So level 1, and all these are cumulative with the adversaries. We already set the Fear deck, it's 443. Level 1 Brandenburg Prussia is you add a town on each board in land number 3. That's it. The other 3 levels that we're doing today are going to be, as I already said, we're taking out invader cards. So level 2, it means we're going to take one of these cards at random. So I'm going to roll. I rolled the 1. We're going to put that between our 1 and our stage 1 and stage 2 cards. I'm going to take out a stage 1 card now based on level 3. So I rolled a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The middle one's going to come out. And then we're going to take out, because of level 4, take out one of the stage 2 cards. And that's out. I rolled a 1. So there we go. So our invader deck, instead of the normal 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, is now 1, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, and then the rest 3s. So it starts moving quick. All right. Mitch, you're still on the fence, Mitch? I would take the plunge, man. It's a great game. So, and hello, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Heng Yu. Anyone sees anything, any mistakes, please use the chat. My wife is gracious enough to be sitting along the side to alert me if there's something I need to check out. So, and if the sound's a little different, I am using a head mic. So if it's a little tin canny, let me know that too. But I didn't want to have the mic I normally use because it gets in the way and I hit it, and I can hit it and edit it out when I'm doing my normal videos, but it's not possible to edit things out when you're doing this live. So that is that. So we have everything is set, right? So now we just have the final stage of setup is going to be to do the initial explore action. So the initial explore action is going to be in mountains. I have a town in my explorers. All right, so we explored into mountains, and that is it. So let me take a look at what's going on. So what this means now is that the invaders are going to be doing a build action in that mountain. That's far from ideal, but we definitely have some ways to counter that. What I'm going to want to do, this is going to blight. You often go to Blighted Island when you're playing as Ocean. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So I'm not going to be too worried about trying to prevent that much blight in an inland land early. Hopefully I'll get something that I can generate the ability to remove blight as we go. I'm going to choose the growth option. I want to get presence out, and I want to get 2-card plays, and I want to get a power card so I can start cycling power cards quick, right? So I'm going to gain a power card. I'm going to gain a minor power card. So let me look at the top 4. The 4 cards we have here are Tormenting Rotflies. It is a slow power. It has 2 range, which I like. It allows me to add a disease in a sands or a wetlands, or it allows me to generate some fear. It has a sky, a plant, and an animal tag, and it costs 1. I will have no energy the first turn. So ideally, I get something that allows me to play that has a 0 energy cost. So Gold's Allure has a 0 energy cost. The problem is it's very limited. The target land can only be a mountain, and the mountain has to be within range 1 of where I have presence. So I would only be able to actually access this mountain. Probably not going to be a good card for Ocean. Delusions of Danger costs 1 energy to play. It has a sun, a moon, and a sky. It is a fast power, range 1, any target land. So there's no restrictions on what kind of land I can target. It allows me to push and explore or generate 2 fear. Or Pact of the Joined Hunt. It has a sun, a plant, and a animal tag. It is a slow power. I can target any spirit. So I'd have to target myself. I can gather a Dahan into any one of their lands and 1 damage in that land per Dahan present. This is not the greatest array of slow powers that I've ever seen. So I am not going to be lying about that. Yeah, I don't love any of them at all. So I'm going to take Delusions of Danger because it might give me some more possibilities next round, and the rest of these are going to go away. Now I'm going to add a presence, and I have to push a presence from each ocean. I am going to, do I want 2-card plays or 1-card play? That is a question. I think I want 2. I need to defend for next turn. Definitely don't want to drown that Dahan. Yikes. All right, I'm going to give myself 2-card plays. So I'm putting a presence from the bottom track. I'm going to put it on this mountain, and then I have to push a presence from the ocean. I'm going to push that into land 2. So I've done all my growth options. I'll take that reminder token off. And now we will look at our cards, see what innate powers we've unlocked. I have 1 moon. I have 1 sky. I have 2 waters. So I do have level 1 pound ships to splinters, and I have 2 waters, and I have 1 earth, which will give me level 1 ocean breaks to shores. So I have 2 fast powers. Call of the Deeps. I can gather a explorer. I will gather this explorer into that ocean. Now I don't have any presence on that ocean, but the special rules of ocean still apply because I do have presence on this board. So since this, actually, you know what? I can't do that. I can't gather into that because I don't have presence in that ocean. So basically, I'm just not using that card for anything but its elements. All right, so that was, sorry for that mistake. If I had presence in the ocean, I could gather this into the ocean, but because I don't, that explorer just stays there, which is totally fine. I really just wanted the elements. So because I have level 1 pound ships of splinters, I'm going to generate a fear. And my other 2 powers are slow. So we're going to go to the invader phase. The invader phase starts with any blighted island effect. There are no blighted island effects. So we're going to go to the event cards. Now, something I worried about the event cards. I understand that there is going to be a change to the sequence of events, for lack of a better word, no pun intended, in the Jagged Earth expansion, and that they are actually saying that players should only apply certain parts of the event cards when they come out. And that makes a lot of sense to me because some of these event cards will totally break your game, sometimes for the good, oftentimes for the bad. I will continue to follow the original branch and claw rules because that's what's out, that's what I do. But when Jagged Earth comes out, I do expect that to be changed, and I think that will be a positive change for the game. So let's hopefully this event card doesn't screw us too much. We have Seeking the Interior because we are in stage 1. The stage always looks, you look at the top invader card. Since we're in stage 1 and each coastal land, we can push 1 explorer, 1 land inland. Not great, but I will push this explorer there. I wanted them there because then I could just drown them and get some energy, but you know, it's fine. Each beast will generate 1 fear if invaders are present. Since that explorer just went there, there is an invader present, so this beast will give me an additional fear. And then on each board, push 2 Dahan from a land with blight to a land without blight. Definitely don't hate that. I will push these 2 Dahan to the coast, and that will work. We have no earned fear cards. We're going to go down to the invader actions. The only invader action in the first round is a build, and it's going to be a big one because we are putting 2 cities on the board. Then we're going to do an explore action, and the invaders are exploring into sands. So we have explorer in land number 2, explorer in land number 6. Invader cards will advance. My turn for the slow power phase. I don't want to drown any of those Dahan, so I'm not going to play Swallow the Land Dweller. So really, I played 2 cards that cost 0 and did nothing with them, but that's fine. You know what? This Dahan, they're building a town there. No, this is fine. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to drown this town here. So what happens? Now, like I was saying before, even though I don't have presence on this ocean, the special rules apply, and I can put this drowned invader onto my board, right? And so I get the 1 fear because I did kill a town. I destroyed a town that generates a fear. So drowning and destroying, the same thing. And now I can turn this 2 health worth of 1 invader into 2 energy, which will give me the energy I need to play some cards next turn. Drown the Dawn. What? I just drowned it. It's good. All right. Yeah, so does it say? Yeah, everyone can see that. So Dave is a good friend of mine. He wants to start a parody channel called Rolo Playthroughs, which I'm a big fan of. I think he should do that. So we are going to, time's going to pass. Nothing needs to heal. There's no damage at Dahan, no damage invaders. And now what do I want to do? So I have 2 real options. I mean, I could try to put more presence on the board, or I can start, again, I really want to start digging through and getting some more power cards as well. If I played that, what does that do for me? I want to be able to drown anything. We're building in sands. Well, this is going to prevent that build. I can probably gather that and prevent that build up there. And if there's nothing building, I'm not going to really need to drown anything. All right, so I have the card plays I need. I don't really see... Let me get another water, so at least I can generate a fear and get a fear card out of there. So I'm going to put 2 presence in the ocean, which does give me a sacred place in the ocean for the purposes of powers. Again, it's a coastal wetland for the purpose of powers. And then because I chose that growth option, I'm also going to get $1. 1 energy. I always say dollar in this game. It's just too many other games, so it's always energy. Currency is energy. So now I get no energy from the presence track. I have 2 card plays. I'm going to play them both. I'm going to put a energy on both of them to show that they are paid for, and that is it. So my innate powers, I have 2 moons plus 1 from my track. So that's 3 moons. I have 1 sky, and I have 1 water plus 1 from my track. So I have 2 waters. So the 1/1/2 is enough to give me level 1 pound ships to splinters. I do not have enough to play ocean breaks to shores. I am going to use delusions of power. I'm going to target any land within range 1 of where I have presence, and I'm going to push this explorer toward the coast. And what that's going to do is prevent a build in that sands, because we're not playing against England. Thank God for that. I am playing Grasping Tide. I generate 2 fear. It gets me a power card, and I'm going to defend 4 in the mountains. He'll be attacking 3 there, and the Dahan will retaliate and take care of that city for us, which is great. And then I also have the extra fear from pound ships to splinters. So we have 2 fear there and 2 remaining in the fear pool. I have no slow actions this round, which is fine. We're going to go to the invader phase. The invaders we get no Blighted Island effect. So the first thing we're going to do in the invader phase is the fear card. Healthy Island. I need a coastal land on each board. Remove 1 town, 1 or 2 lands inland. Fortunately, that would really suck for Ocean, but we do not have any towns on the coastal land, so we just ignore that effect. On each board, choose a land with disease, do 2 damage to invaders, and 2 damage to Dahan. That's rough, because I didn't want to lose that Dahan, but that's fine. So I'm just going to kill this Dahan unceremoniously, and we're going to do 2 damage. I don't see another way I'm doing more damage, so I'm just going to take care of the invader and then put the city on its side. And again, it has 2, you can see 2 buildings from the top, and that's how you know that there are 2 health remaining in that city. During Ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan in that land. That will do. Fear card. Each town destroys 1 explorer in its land. There is only, so it's scapegoats. So the town is blaming this explorer for something, and he's dead. That's about it. Not the most helpful, but could have been worse. We're going to now ravage. We're going to all the invader actions now. We go left to right. First step of the invaders is they're ravaging in 7. We'll put the blight out. And then they're going to ravage in 3. That is defended 4, plus is defended 2 more because of the event card, so it's defended 6. The Dahan are going to retaliate 4, because it's 2 per Dahan. That city is destroyed. That generates 2 more fear, and then we have our second fear card. So we're quickly getting our way to terror level 2, which will be nice. So ravage action is done. We're going to do a build. This disease prevents a build in land number 2. There is nothing to build in land number 6, so we go to our explore action, and because we're playing Prussia, we have to put a bunch of these little guys on the board. So we have a explorer in land 3, explorer in land 7, that takes care of the mountains, an explorer in land 6, and an explorer in land 2. Fine. Invader cards advance. I have no slow powers, and we are going to have time pass. All right, and that means that this city is healed. We are, the nice thing about this card, the really nice thing about this card, is that when this guy ravages, he's going to damage the Dahan, and hopefully there's not going to be anything to augment his powers in doing damage, but that Dahan will kill him, and then when he dies, we don't have to worry about anything building there, right? So that's a really, really nice combo for us. The real question becomes, what do we do about this? Because if we can wipe that out too, we don't have to worry about a build there. This mountain's going to be a problem because they're going to build another town there, and that is probably going to blight and cascade, and I don't think there's much I can do about that as we head into level 2. But I think I just need to deal with it. I'm going to I'm wondering if I should have taken the presence off the bottom track and given myself the 3 card plays. That might have been a smarter move last round, but we will deal with what I did. Yeah, I'm going to have to do... I can drown that. I could try to gamble with a power card. The reality is I can't do a major power card because I'm kind of cash poor, more than I want to be, especially with Ocean. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My wife pointed out, yes, that is an absolute truth. It is going to be early Blighted Island. That is normal for Ocean, especially against Prussia. So at least in my experience, yeah, I would normally want to gain powers. The problem is I haven't drowned enough towns. There haven't been enough towns built on the coast for my taste. So I'm not going to even have, if I get a power, I'm going to need to get a power that doesn't cost anything because I only have 1 money. So the smart move right now is to pick up to reclaim all my cards. And I'm going to have to gather a presence into each ocean before I decide which I'm going to do that with. I'm going to get my card. I'm also going to take my energy before I forget. So I do have 3 energy to work with this turn. I'm going to take a minor power. I really want to start getting some majors, but it's not meant to be yet. Reached Grasp. Target spirit gets +2 range with all their powers. Now that sounds like a really great card for Ocean, but remember, even when you have additional range, any limitations to target land still apply. And since most of Ocean's powers can only target coastal land or lands where they have presence, that +2 isn't going to be much good. It could help with delusions of danger, and that's really about it. All right, Gift of Power, that has all the elements I want. It's got a moon, it's got a water, it's got an earth. I love it, and it allows me to get a minor power, and power is great. Call to Tend allows me to remove a blight from a land with Dahan. Really going to be hard to do. I mean, Dahan are there with Ocean. There's not a lot of synergy between the Dahan and Ocean like there is with like Thunder Speaker or some of the other spirits. And then I have Animated Rack Root. I get to do a fear in a land where I have presence and destroy an explorer or add a wild. This does nothing for Ocean at all. Call to Tend is out. Reaching Grass doesn't do much. So I guess we are doing the Gift of Power, kids. All right. That's fine. It'll give me another card to replace when I start getting major powers and want to forget something. All right, so we'd have that there. We are building here, which is fine. I want the ability to drown at least one thing so I can start getting some money. You know what I might do? It's probably a good time to play Tidal Boon. Yeah, I really need 3 card plays. Ravage. All right, I'm going to play, because they're building a town there, I really want to I'm worried about next turn as well. So, oh, they're ravaging this turn. Shoot. So I could defend, but it's not going to do much good for me. Next turn, but I think that's the right play. Drown, that's fine. I'm going to play Tidal Boon, and I'm going to play Grasping Tide. I could have played Swallow the Land Dwellers, but I think Tidal Boon's a little bit better for the current situation I find myself in. So I did all my growth options. I'm in the presence phase now. I get no energy from the energy track, but I do have 2 card plays. I picked them. I'm going to pay 1 for each. I'm going to look at any of the innate powers. I have not unlocked any levels of Pound Ships to Splinters, but I do have level 1 of Ocean Breaks the Shores. My fast power, I'm going to generate 2 fear, and I'm going to defend 4 in the sands. All right, we're now going to Invader phase. The Invader phase, we're still Healthy Island for now. Give it 1 second. And we're going to do the event card. New species spread. New plants and animals brought by the invaders damage the local ecology. You may let the invasive species bloom or transmute the worst of them. Full presence from the coast. That's right. Thank you. Right, gather pet. Right. And I waited to do that. That's why I had that reminder token there too. Let me do it from this jungle. Cool. Thank you. All right, I'm going to. I can transmute the worst of them. It'd be 4 energy per player, aided by Moon, and then it would allow me to add a beast and generate a fear. I really don't want to risk. If I let the invasive species bloom, I would have to discard a top minor power, and if it's fast, I have to add a blight and then put this back underneath, and that's just not worth the risk. So I am going to. I have 2 moons in play, and I have another moon on my track. So I think I'm going to forget. I realistically don't know if I'm ever using Gift of Power. So I'm going to just discard that. All right. So when it is aided by an element, as many of you know, I'm sure, but just to reiterate for those who don't, when it's something aided by an element, so the cost is 4 energy per player. But because it's aided by Moon, I have 3 options as far as how to get that aid, so to speak. The first is I look at any one of the corresponding elements I have in play. Since I have 2 moons in play in my power cards and 1 in play because of my presence track, I already have 3 energy worth of aid from the moon. And then I could discard a card for an additional +2, or if I could forget a power for an additional +4. So I don't need to forget a power because I already had 3. I could spend this money, but I'm really cash poor for how I like to play Ocean. So I really want to conserve every energy I can right now. So this made the most sense. I just discard Gift of Power. Don't forget it. I discard it. And now we're allowed to transmute the worst of the species. And now since we transmuted the worst of the species, we generate a fear because the invaders are terrified about how much we can transmute species, I guess. And then we add a beast to a land with cities and towns. I'm going to add this beast here. Why not? Nah, I'll add it out here in land 7. And the nice thing is, a lot of times when you add beasts, you can only add it where there's not blight. This doesn't have that restriction, so we're just going to put it there. On half of the boards, we are going to add a disease to a land with both Dahan and invaders. We have to do 2 damage to invaders there. Dahan and invaders, man, these Dahan are just getting wiped out. They are getting wiped out. All right, I will wipe out the invaders in the jungle, or the Dahan in the jungle. And each spirit with at least 2 Dahan among its lands gains an energy. And they rejoice. Offerings of pattern and dance. All right, fear card. We are still on tower level 1. Each player may push a Dahan from a land with invaders or gather 1 Dahan from a land with invaders. I would love to gather this Dahan from here. That was magical, actually. Yeah. Push Madonna from a land of invaders. Yeah, so when they ravage, we're not going to have any building this turn in the sands. That's actually a really magical card for me. Cool. All right, we're going to go to the invader actions. The invaders are ravaging in sands. They're ravaging 4. We're defended 4, and then the Dahan retaliate 4. Lots of 4s. So we kill the city and an explorer, which gives us 2 fear. So now we generate another fear card. Awesome. In the other sands, the Dahan are ravaging 1. 1 is not enough to blight the island. It is enough to wound the Dahan but not kill it. And that Dahan is pesky because he's going to fight back with 2 and kill that explorer. So the sands are totally wiped out, which is great. We're going to the build action. We are going to not build in sand because there's nothing there to build. And then we are going to build in the land number 3, and we're going to build in land number 7, which is going to definitely make us blight very soon. And we know to our first stage 2 explore card, and we're exploring coastal lands, which is pretty good. So we're putting 1 explorer in each coastal land, and we do not have to worry about the escalator for Brandenburg, Prussia yet. Again, in stage 2, there's always an escalator, but the escalator only applies where there's that symbol that is on the adversary card. And since there is no symbol on the coastal lands card, we do not need to worry about it, which is great. All right, so I can drown 2 towns, but I only have 1 town to worry about here. I'm going to play Tidal Boon. And so a target is another spirit in Tidal Boon, but again, when you're playing a solo game, you can read that as any spirit. So that's like the major change in the rules as far as solo game versus a 2-player game, or I should say a true solo game, because if you're playing 2-handed, which some people who are way smarter than me tend to do, that is you'd have to target the other spirit. But here, since we're playing true solo, we can target ourselves. As the spirit says, we can, as the power says, I gain 2 energy, and I can push a city and up to 2 Dahan from any one of their lands. I don't really want to push any Dahan, so I'm just going to drown this city. I'm sorry, this town. I keep saying city. That generates a fear because it destroys the town, and then I could turn that town into 2 energy. So I'm going to put 1 back and take 3. Now you see, like, I started this turn with like no money, and I'm already up to 6, so no energy, and I'm up to 6 already. So again, Ocean's energy generation is really, really nice. And there's no more towns for me to drown, so Ocean Breaks the Shores is just a dud this round, but we're good with that. And now time will pass. The only thing that needs to heal is this Dahan, and the only land that looks horrendous right now is land number 7. Yowza. All right, so we need a major power to try to deal with land number 7 is what we need to do. I am going to put a reminder token here, and hopefully I remember why I put it there this time. But that's why I have an awesome chat, I guess. So I'm going to gain a power card, and we're breaking into the majors. Now, look, there are about 8 or so majors that I think are really helpful for Ocean, in contrast to about, and there's only like, 30-something cards, whereas the minors are actually a lot less helpful. So every chance I can start digging into that major deck when I feel like I have enough money is a chance I want to take for sure. So our options are Strangling Firevine. It is a target land is 1 away from where you have presence in a sand, so basically anywhere from land number 2. I can destroy all explorers. I add a wild, and I can add a wild in the originating sands, and 1 damage per wild in adjacent. 1 damage per wild in adjacent to the target land. So basically, if I target it here, I can put a wild there, and it do 2 damage. Right? It's a pretty strong card. Not necessarily it's right for Ocean right now, but it's a good card. And if you have 2 fire and 3 plant, you can do +1 damage per wilds in adjacent to the target land. Instruments of Their Own Ruin. It's a fast power. You can put it range 1 from where you have a sacred place. You add a strife. Strife is the fist. It basically negates all of the damage done by 1 invader to whom it is assigned. It is the only token that is actually assigned to an invader as opposed to the land in general. It is each invader with strife deals damage to other invaders in the target land. Probably not the greatest card for where I'm at. The Jungle Hungers, range 1 from where I have presence in a jungle. I can destroy an explorer and all towns and destroy all Dahan. Slow power. If I have 2 moons and 3 plant, I can destroy a city and do not destroy any Dahan. And number 4 option, Smothering Infestation. I can do in a land where I have presence, I can add a disease. And if target land is a jungle or a wetland, 2 fear and 3 damage. If I have 2 waters and 2 plants, 1 damage each invader. And those are garbage. I mean, they're good cards. They're not what I was hoping for. I mean, I really need a range 2 card so I can start doing some damage in number 7. I'll tell you what, there is a card, Fire and Fury, which is a major power. That card it's the most awesome card on the deck when you get it as Ocean, because it just allows you to do so much with range. But unfortunately, it is not within our grasp yet. All right, so which of these cards do I want to try to make the best of my current situation? I'm going to gather. I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to elements. What?
Somebody asked about bubbly octopus.
No bubbly octopus. Oh, Miss Oblivion? Yeah. Yes, that's a great card. I've been doing a deep dive of Ocean for a couple of weeks, and oh yeah, that card is awesome, especially if you have the elements to escalate it. That's funny. All right, what am I doing? These are garbage, man. These are just garbage. I'll tell you what, the wilds intrigue me. But it's slow, nothing's building, but it would be a way to pick off a town that builds. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to take, in case things start happening in 6 or 5, I think the Jungle Hungers is probably the smartest decision here. It has a moon. Smothering Infestation, I just can't see it worth it without any range whatsoever. So that was unfortunate. Now I need to forget a power. I am going to forget the Gift of Power, the irony. Although those symbols are good. Nah, I don't see I'm ever going to use a card play for the Gift of Power, not when I'm only working with 2 power cards right now. So now I'm not going to forget my next step here. I'm going to add a presence to a coastal land, and I will add that. Man, we are so going blighted right now. I'm going to add it here, and I get the push of presence from each ocean. Let me get my sacred place in my favorite spot up in that northwest corner. And now I've done all of my growth options. I actually get an energy from my presence track now, which is nice, and I get to play 2 powers. One of them is clearly going to be Call of the Deeps. The other is going to be... I think Swallow the Land Dwellers makes the most sense. So that actually cost me 0, which is a nice way to conserve some money. And we are going to see what what innate powers I've unlocked. I have 2 moons, I have 1 sky, I have 3 waters. So that actually gives me level 2 pound ships of splinters, which is cool. And I have 3 waters and 1 earth, which gives me level 1 ocean breaks the shores. So let me do my innate power first. That's 2 fear. We're going to have a second fear card, and we are going to tarot level 2s. Deuce. 2. I got stuck between several languages in my head right there. We are going to do Call of the Deeps. I am going to target the ocean, and I'm going to gather an explorer from 1, and I'm going to gather an explorer from 3, and we are going to, yeah, because I definitely want those 2 builds because I'm going to be able to drown those towns. So I'm just going to drown those 2 explorers, and that's going to give me 2 energy. So I'll just make the change, so to speak, right now. That's it for the fast power. So we go to the invader phase. We're still healthy for the next 5 seconds, and we're going to the event card. Now, we are in Terra level 2. So we're going to go cultural assimilation on each board in a land with exactly 1 Dahan that has or is adjacent to a city. Replace that Dahan with a town. That is not good. So we are hoping for a blight card that has a little bit of wiggle room, because now we're going to blight in 2 spots right now. That was bad. All right, each beast does 2 damage. Remove any token that destroys a city or a town. So this beast destroys that explorer. It does not destroy a town, though, so that remains. This beast destroys that town, and that's going to generate 1 fear. But since it's destroyed a town, this beast goes away. On a board with at least 2 Dahan and at least 2 towns or cities, we can stop reading right there because we do not have any such land. Sorry, in each board, choose a land with 2 Dahan, 2 cities. We do not have any such land on our board, so we can ignore that. And I am now hoping beyond hope that we get a fear card that allows us to remove a town. So Terra level 2. Each player chooses a different land with Dahan. 1 damage per Dahan there. We have to do it. I don't love it because I really wanted to drown this thing. But I guess I have enough energy, so who really cares? So we're just going to kill... Well, he's going to die. Anyway, yeah, I do want at least 1 build so I can drown something. So we're going to do this fear card in land number 2 and kill off that explorer. And, that's not going to happen. Each player removes an explorer or a town from a land with beast, disease, or at least 2 Dahan. So we'll move an explorer from the jungle. This board is so clean, and we are so in danger of losing right now, which is really unfortunate. So let's hope for the best. So we're going to ravage. We are putting a blight on land number 2. So we have ravaged in the sands, but not the mountains. I'm saying that out loud. Oh, you know what? It's not even going to build there. It's not even going to, because it's going to ravage there and then die. So yeah, that's fine. Everything's going to be dead except for 6 and 7. Yikes. We're done. That's it. We only have 2 fear and only two blight on this, and we're going to ravage a cascade in 7. So 7 is going to ravage and go. I will not even bother reading the rest, but that sucked. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was just a really awful sequence of event card turning this into town and ravaging based on a level 3 card, and then having a blight card that only had 2 blight on it. But look at that board. Ocean's really strong. Ocean is a very, very strong character, and their matchup against Prussia is actually really strong, more so than anything else. I mean, eventually you will get a card that, even if you can't destroy a city, that is a variant. Yeah, thanks. My wife just pointed my attention to the chat. That is a variant. I'm happy to play it out. It's not a variant I've played, and I know what you're talking about. I've read this a couple of times. What do they say? Blight cards only have 2 blights. So solo play. This is page 17 of the rulebook for those that might not know, and it's so early. that I'm fine playing it out that way, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Blight cards would only have 2 blight per player on a blighted island, can be especially nasty when playing solo. Yeah, no kidding. If you get one of them in a single player game, you may choose to draw a random replacement from the unused blight card, and that's fine. I'll do that. I to be honest, I normally really like this card if you can survive it, because it gives you that extra energy, and that extra card play can really add up. But applying the variant for the sake of what were my cards now? I don't remember. Who remembers what my cards were? Did I just gain those? No. I played those 2. Is that right? Do they have anything left in my deck? I don't know. Somebody in the chat, if you remember what my cards were, then I'll reset that. So yeah, if we sub that out for the sake of the video, that'd be fine. I think I had played, what is it, the 4th round? Yeah, I think I played those 2 last round, and then these 2 this round. So I think I have the Jungle Hungers and Delusions of Danger left. But if someone has a better memory than me as to what I did there, definitely let me know. Because I just gained the Jungle Hungers, and I forgot the Gift of Power. All right, so I'm looking at the wrong side of these. So I'm shuffling. We're going to get a new Blighted Island card. So I rolled a 4. We'll do the back half. That's 2. Blighted Island, 4 per player. All right, that's giving us some play. Since we already put one of those 4 on the board, we just have 3 more per player. At the start of each invader phase, each spirit forgets a power or destroys one of their presence. That's one of the original. The original 2. This one is the only difference from the original 2 is this. The other one has 5 blight per player, and instead of having the option to either forget a power or destroy your presence, forget of. Instead of having the option, you have to destroy your presence. So it's a little bit more harmful for spirits that have a hard time getting presence out. All right, so picking up where we left off then. So we blighted there. There was nothing to ravage there. We blighted and cascaded there. I'm actually going to put this blight in where the beast is instead of putting it at 8. And then they're going to ravage in 3. That's going to hurt the Dahan, not enough to blight the land or destroy presence. And then we're going to kill that explorer in the retaliate. All right, slow powers. There's just literally nothing to do. So that's fine. I had done that. Yeah, cool. All right, we are now still in a hunt to try to. I mean, we are only 3, 7, 11, 15 fear away from terror level 3, and then we just need to take care of that city. But honestly, the way that this is looking, we have to do the rest of. So the ravage is done. Coastal lands, before I forget. So there's nothing building, and we have to explore. We're exploring at the sands. So we're going to do a thing there, and we're going to explore there. And with the escalator for Brandenburg, Prussia, on each board with cities or towns, add a town to a land that doesn't have one. So that's actually nice. I still have to swallow the land dwellers, so I'll just build the town there. I figured it out. I got there. And then I'm going to drown the Dahan, the city, and the town there. So I'm going to get a fear because I destroyed that town. I'm going to get 3 energy for having them drown. So again, the explorer gave me 1 energy, and the town gave me 2. So that actually, that's one of the cases with Ocean that the explorer actually helped me. Especially with the escalator, because when you're always adding a town, well, guess what? When you're playing as Ocean, the escalator for Brandenburg, Prussia, guess where you're going to put those towns often? You're going to put them on the coastline and just drown them, and then you just gave yourself 2 energy because of an escalator that against other spirits would actually make your life a lot harder. So the cards are going to advance, and now I think I've done everything this round. And now we're going to go to the growth option again. So there's nothing ravaging in the coast, which is amazing. Jungle beckons. I can destroy. Oh, it's going to build a city. But I'll be able to do a lot of damage there. So let me get a major power and see if I can't do something about this. I'm going to add a presence from, oh, let me get that earth element because I'm not going to have two waters anyway. All right, so I'm doing this growth option. Let me see what my powers are that I'm dealing with before I decide where I'm going to take that from the presence track. First option is Pillar of the Living Flame. 2 away from where you have a sacred place. You can do 5 damage. If the target land is a jungle or a wetland, you have to add a blight. This is not a jungle or a wetland, and doing 5 damage there would be glorious. So that is one cool option. And this is not a jungle or a wetland either, and I will have a sacred place here. So I'll be able to take care of both of those lands using that card. I don't see another card that's going to even be close. Untwined Power is kind of useless in a solo game. Death falls gently from open blossoms will allow me to do 4 damage in a sands, which range 3. That could be really good there, but it's not going to do anything for me in the mountain. And volcanic eruption, you need that presence in a mountain, but you have to add a blight in an adjacent land, and you do 6 fear and 20 damage, destroy all dawn. It's kind of an awesome card, but not exactly what I need. So I'm going to take Pillar of the Living Flame.
Tell Brian when you're going to post your next page.
Hey, what's up, Brian? I am going to be posting a Krang playthrough of Volcair's Return on Sunday. So you look out for that. And then I'm looking at probably once a month for Maze Night. My next live playthrough will probably be in 2 weeks. I'm going to probably do it earlier, like 6 o'clock. And I think I'm looking to do a Norowas Solar Conquest live at that time. So at minimum, you'll have Krang in 4 days, but hopefully you'll have Norowas in a couple weeks as well. All right, so I'm Pillar of the Living Flame, and I'm going to get rid of Delusions of Danger or some garbage. I'm going to get rid of... I'm going to get rid of Grasping Tide because it's not like I'm going to have to defend on the coast anymore. And we're good with that. So I still only have to add a presence, which is why this reminder token's there. So I'm going to make a sacred place in land 2 and then push a presence from its ocean. And now I have a sacred place all along the coast. I have, yeah, I should be able to win this in 2 turns. So I have the money. Ooh. Got to be careful about that. So I don't want to do this 8 because it's just going to put me a little bit cash poor for next turn. I'm not going to be able to drown anything this turn because I'm not going to have the second water. So somehow I'm ocean and ended up with 3 cards in my hand that don't have a water on them. So that was I messed up somewhere. But Pillar of the Living Flame was too good to pass up. So I'm going to play Pillar of the Living Flame, and I'm going to play Delusions of Danger. I'm going to get the 1 money there. Oh, that's not money. 1 money there, 5 money here. And actually, I don't even think Delusions of Danger help me because I don't have 2 waters. Oh, but I can generate 2 fear. Yeah, that would make sense. Cool. So I'm going to, my only fast power, I have no innate powers. My only fast power is Delusions of Danger. I'm going to turn that sideways. I'm just going to generate 2 fear. I can target any land, so it doesn't matter. And we have a fear card. Great. And now we're going to go to the invader phase. First thing we do is Blighted Island effect. I need to forget a power or destroy a presence. I will destroy a presence in land number 3. I'm going to go to the event card. Blighted Island. On each board with invaders, add a blight to an inland land. Spirits may prevent this on any all boards by destroying 3 presence. That's fine. I'm not adding blight. Invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife. Each player may push 1 explorer or town from a land with Dahan. Doesn't apply. We move on. Fear card. Terror level 2. Each player removes up to 3 health from invaders from a land with disease or 1 explorer from an inland land. I'm going to, there's no lands with disease that have invaders. I'm just going to remove this explorer. And that's fine. Ravaging in coastal lands, nothing to ravage. Building in sands, we build here. And then we do our explore action. We're exploring into mountains. 1 there, 1 there. And now all the invader cards advance. I'm going to do my slow power within 2 of where I have a sacred place. So within 2, I'm going to destroy everything in the sands because that is ravaging next turn. So it is not a jungle or a wetland, so I don't need to worry about adding blight, and I'm just doing 5 damage. I'm going to destroy that city and that town. That generates an additional 3 fear on top of what the card just gifted me. So we have another fear card ready. So we are literally only 6 fear away from terror level 3. When I can play this card, destroy this city, and we should win next turn. All right, cool. Let's move on. No reason to belabor it. And we're going to reclaim cards. We're going to get 2 money. We're going to push this presence into the ocean. Probably should have just forgotten a card instead of destroying a presence, but I didn't realize I was getting the event card that made me lose 3 more presents at the time. I'm going to gain a minor power card because really no escalation. Don't forget the oh yeah. Well, I couldn't drown it anyway, to be honest with you. So yeah, escalator. I'm going to put this town on the jungle. Yeah, I didn't have the 2 waters because I'm the guy who plays ocean and doesn't get waters clearly, which is a really good strategy. None of these are going to help. I don't care. That's fine. That will go away. So I'm going to play, you know what? This actually might help. Right, so I'm going to get 1 energy from the presence track, and I'm going to play this just because it's going to allow me to play another card by paying its cost, and then it will I might be able to trigger a higher level of innate power for Pound Ships and Splinters. So I'm going to play Pillar of Living Flame, and yeah, I can drown with Call of the Deeps, and that's free. So cool. So I have 6 power or 6 energy. That's 1. That's 5. So I'm going to use Spur On with Words of Fire, and then that allows me to target any spirit. And I targeted myself. Target myself. That's fine. And it allows me to play Call of the Deeps as well. But honestly, why don't I just play Call of the Deeps? Because I still get the same things. Yeah, that's garbage. I'm not playing this. I'm going to keep that money on that energy on my board. All right, so Call of the Deeps, I'm going to, just in case there's anything that augments the Ravage ability of the invaders, I'm going to gather into this coastland. I do have level 1, because I have the 2 waters and an earth. I do have level 1 Ocean Breaks the Shores, and I have I have 2 moons, 1 sky, and 2 waters. That gives me level 1 Pound Ships and Splinters. So I'm going to generate a fear for this. That is all of my fast powers. We go to the Blighted Island phase. I'm going to forget a power. I'm going to forget the power I just got because I don't find it that helpful. I'm going to look at my event cards. Stage 3, in lands with at least 2 towns, replace half the towns rounding up with cities. I do not have any lands with 2 towns. Invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife. And on each board, push 2 Dawn from a land with a city to a land without a city. That is the most useless event card I've ever seen, but that's fine. We're going to Fear card, Terror level 2. Each player may gather an explorer into a land with cities or towns, or gather a town into a land with a city. That does nothing for me either. We are ravaging in sands, nothing happening. We're building a town here, and we're building a town here. And then we're going to do our explore action. We are putting a ton of these little guys on the board. And now I am going to do my final power. I'm going to play Pillar of the Living Flame. That generates 3 fear. So 1 comes down, 2 remain. And then I'm going to use 5 damage to destroy this city and town, generate 3 more fear, which gets us to Terror level 3. There are no cities left on the board, and that would be a Terror level 3 victory. Cool. So yeah, thanks for the reminder about the variant. That was really cool. I would never have thought of it. It's not something I normally play with, but you can see why they bothered to write that paragraph in this rule book, because two blight is not a lot. But I really do like the challenge with those cards. They're really fun. As far as they give you an extra card, like one of them, I think it's like you draw the number of players plus one, and it's like you just get that card to play every turn. I think that's a really cool variant. So there's things that they do that make a much more dynamic game. But obviously, if you have the worst combination of event card and blight card, you could be out in a game that you were otherwise very much in control of, like we were here. Ocean's a great spirit. I mean, for me, if I'm going to play solo and I really just want a fun game where I feel like really strong about my chances of winning, it's Ocean, it's Fangs, and it is Thunder Speaker. Those are probably my three strongest spirits. Ocean definitely has some more variance because you are so dependent on the power card you get. And again, it's a brutal matchup against Sweden, because all the Sweden's setup that puts another city on the board and an inland land. You have the double blight from level 1. It's just a really vicious spirit adversary for Ocean specifically. Highest level I beat with the expansion, I've beat all of the adversaries on level 6 not with every spirit. I think I beat level 6 France with Fangs. I know Thunder Speaker was like an MVP for me for a long time. I guess MVS, most valuable spirit, for a long time. Thunder Speaker is really strong, and once you learn how to manipulate her Dawn movement and her Spirit movement, she's great. Great card. I think the first spirit I beat England with was Ocean, and I'm pretty sure it was on land D, where I just had the right sequence of invader cards come up, where if you have a lot of early building on the wetlands, you can really take control of that, and then you get the right major powers. Again, I'll tell you, I'm going to try to find that Fire and Fury card, because it is so strong for Ocean. Tsunami is a card. I mean, I don't know, for people who know Tsunami is just a wild card. You can just do excessive amount of damage on the coast. I find Tsunami in solo is kind of pointless, because you already have so much control of the coast. But in a co-op game, Tsunami just opens that game up, because you're going to have presence in every ocean in play. Yeah, Fire and Flood is actually the very next card on the top of the deck, and it allows you to do damage in 2 lands, and you'll pretty much walk into 3 waters usually as Ocean, except when you play as me, and I had no waters for a couple of rounds there. But you're basically doing 8 damage in 1 land that's 2 away from a sacred place, and 4 damage in another land. This is usually the card that will allow me to get to a victory against like France or England or Sweden. To the point that I will, at some points, anytime I get a power card, I'm just cycling through the major powers as fast as I can, hoping to find Fire and Fury, because it's that much of a game changer. I think your margin for error, making a decision here or there that might not have been optimal, is a lot wider against Prussia. So I was again not not that sad to see that die roll come off and put Prussia in play. But that's it. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I will try to keep making things better, and I'm going to try to get some picture-in-picture functionality in the next couple of playthroughs and see what I can do there. We will keep putting out new videos every Sunday at 9 o'clock. In addition to these playthroughs, and again, I'm going to play with the time, because I know this is not a great time for some of my international subscribers, where it's probably like 3-4 a.m. for them right now. The crazy thing about this channel is I plan to do this live playthrough when I hit 100 subscribers, and now I'm pushing 3. So I am, it's kind of surreal. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for everyone who enjoys these videos, and I love playing these games. And this was like a goofy little project I did on the side, just to put some videos out there and to see the reception that it's gotten. It's been really cool, and I thank you all for that, and for that opportunity to share this with you all. So any questions, comments, epiphanies, please put them in the comment section below. I will get back, as I always do. But in the meantime, I hope you all can come back on Sunday to see a game of Mage Knight. Until then, happy gaming.